Hey, Purpose Peeps, this is Dena, your sister in purpose and resultant. And I'm so thrilled to be here with you today. It's been a minute. A lot's been going on behind the scenes that's brought some really great opportunities to grow our community and just to grow us on our purpose path. And I'm thrilled to share some of that with you today. So today's session is all about access granted. Okay? Access granted. So if you know any purpose peeps like you and I that need to be reminded that anything that is unlocked is for a period of time and that we will have access granted. The only question is what's going to be our mode to unlock access. So I'm here to tell you that today, let me get my big key. So today we're going to use the big key because guess what? We got granted some huge access for our community and growing our purpose. Okay? Big deal. Big deal. So go ahead and save this to your page because I suspect that you're going to want to go back and listen to it again. And also put anybody's name in the comments that needs to hear this, that needs to hear some encouragement while they're on the path to purpose, but not just encouragement because your sister in purpose is also a resultant. So that means I'm always looking for things that are going to give us some results, things that are going to move us from here to here on our path to purpose and our path to our version of results that matter. So we have to unlock ourselves to be able to understand what that is and take the inspired action to be able to bring it to fruition. So that's what this journey is about. And I'm thrilled to tell you about some progress that we've made as a community because God knew what he was doing when he decided to make me your sister in purpose because he knows I have the mouth. He knows that I have the commitment. He knows that I have the fortitude and the belief about you and your results that matter. And whatever I find, I'm going to tell it, I'm going to share it, and I'm going to make it something that's applicable to us and our community on our journey. Okay? So if that sounds juicy to you, I hope it does because I'm thrilled to bring this news. So let's get a little closer, okay? So we can really unpack this thing so you can understand what this is all about, right? So many of you know that I have books and programs called Unlock the Keys to Your Success and Turn Them into Results, right? And so this is all about that kind of cathartic journey about unlocking things that we have access to, but we just don't realize it. So they're under leveraged. So unlocking are the gems in our lives that come from some of our life events that we can turn into our keys to success and be able to leverage them and grow in those areas and really kind of hone in on what makes us tick, what's our insight, knowledge, and purpose, and how can we leverage that throughout our lives. Because why is that important? Because we want to live the spark life. We want to live the life of purpose. We want to live in fulfillment. And that's the big download that came when I wrote the book, Divine Spark. And that's a whole nother story. I had different books that I wanted to write, but that's the one that God said, no, you do this first. And kind of break down this language that you have with some of your close friends and spark purpose peeps so that more people can have that experience and know what's available to them. And because relationships are really important on the path to purpose. And people that kind of spark us and encourage us, not just by their words and actions, but just by their presence and their belief is really, really important. Okay, so I'm on this journey. I hadn't written anything. Unlock the Keys to Your Success and Turn Them into Results was my business tagline for about 15 years, but I was having a different experience with it that was unfolding. So if you think about what we talk about in the community about life, and your purpose being like the life of the butterfly and that transformative process, I was probably in the caterpillar stage. And if you don't want to know more about that, check out episode 3 because we unbundle that then. So think about the butterfly, and it consumes everything at this point in its journey because it needs to fuel this transformation. It needs to fuel this transformation. It needs to fuel all these physical, mental, all this different stuff that's going on. So I was having that type of experience, both for me and for my business. So I was doing massive research. But what was cool about this research, because I'm an MBA strategist, right? That's how I came to strategy land strongly, was through that path, highly analytical. But this journey wasn't highly analytical. Yes, I did this research, but I was divinely guided about like what to look for. And so I had all these things, all these different books and programs and things that intellectually you like, they don't even go together. Why am I looking this up? I don't understand. But God was giving me these downloads and telling me, look at this, look this up. I think that's the one for you. So I was on this journey that was so different for me. It was similar, but it was like really, really different. So it's like going on a trip and you're used to flying and then you're on a bicycle or you're on a different mode of transportation. So your views, we talk about this, the different vantage points a lot in our group and in my methodology. My views were so different in this journey than they had been before, because I was seeing things and having these different experiences that I hadn't had before. Okay. So this one day, April 15, 2014, I got a divine download to look up the word purpose and economy. And for my business, I was transforming it to focus on purpose-driven profits. And what's the intersection between that and innovation, like real innovation? Like, how does this work really? And so I said, wow, that makes sense. I never thought about it like that. And when I looked it up, guess what bubbled up? The purpose economy. And it was being released that same day. So needless to say, I ordered it. I ordered it in print form. I ordered it in an ebook on Kindle because I couldn't wait for the book to be shipped. I mean, I was that stoked. Okay. And so the author, Aaron Hurst, he kind of spearheaded the book, but he worked with a community of sparked Purpose Peeps that are like experts in exploring purpose across industries, across academia. And this is a scientifically driven process. So my process is more of a heart process. This process is more of a brain process, okay? And so all these wonderful minds came together and they hypothesized that we are really evolving from a technology-driven economy. So everything it touches technology, and we know that to be true. And we know how much the world has changed due to technology over the last decade. We don't have to be sold on that. So now we're moving to the purpose economy, where the economy, your money, is going to be driven by meaning. Like people are demanding, there's a demand that businesses are going to have to supply, that the world is going to have to respond to in its supply in terms of, how do you derive meaning at what you do? You produce products, widgets, services, whatever it is. Why are you doing that? Like, what's the really strong why behind that? How are you impacting those that you serve? So you have different constituencies. You have your employees. You may have shareholders. You may have investors. You have the communities that you're in, right? So if you are a business or, just any organization that's a system of people. Let's just break it down. Just systems of people coming together to do stuff are going to be driven by purpose. That's the easiest way to say it, right? So I read that, and that really sparked me. I'm so glad that I listened to that nudge and that I took inspired action. So here's some of our language, because that validated this quest that I was on. So I found out, like, sometimes have you experienced, like, you think you're on this quest and you think it's like your quest and it's, just like you and maybe some people that kind of get you. And then you expand your view and you expand your reach and you understand it. Oh my goodness, this is a movement. Like, there are people all over the globe that are, working and figuring this out and translating this into their versions of inspired action. So it's like I got caught up in a rapture around a movement. And that was so validating for me, Purpose Peeps. I can't tell you. So please follow your nudges and take inspired action. Just know that it's going somewhere, and it's only the question of timing to really understand like where this thing is going. And I think I only have a piece of the puzzle even now. Okay, so another thing, let me get to the access granted part. So access was granted to anyone who purchased the book, and you were able to go online. I mean, anyone at this point, but it was advertised through the release of the book. You could go online and you could take a purpose profile through the company Imperative. And Imperative is the author's company. And so you could just take this survey, spend like 10 minutes, and it would spit out like components of your purpose profile. You would have a purpose profile, and it was about your who. So who are the people that you are called to serve? Individuals, groups, society, this big picture thing. Why? Like, what's your strong driver? And this is all about purpose at work. So we're in the brain of purpose. We're in purpose at work. And this is this is based on psychological research, okay? Versus the heart of purpose, which is that cathartic experience and spiritual driven, component of it, okay? So I go and I take this survey, and it spits out the who and the why and also the how. So like, what's your special power? Like, what's the thing that sets you apart, and how you respond to life and opportunities and problems at work and just in your life in general? Like, what's your mode of operating? If you went into a telephone booth like Superman, what costume would you come out with? Would you come out with something that says, I build communities that solve problems and leverage solutions? Would you come out and say, I build structure so that the great ideas and solutions, have longevity over time? Would you come out and say, oh, wow, I am all about the human spirit. I'm all about understanding human behavior. I have this human gift. Or are you someone that's knowledge driven? Like, I get to the nitty gritty. I can research like nobody's business. I can get to the root of any problem or opportunity. I can build ideas and solutions, based on just my access to knowledge, just my access to information and data, and the way that I can manipulate it. So there are all these different components, and the questions in that survey kind of answer that for you. And then you come out with at that time, it was like a 3-page report. So what I did, because I'm your sister in purpose and resultant, I was like, how can I leverage this in my life personally first? And like I told you, anything that you find here in our community is going to be something that's authentic, of value, and tested. So I went through and said, okay, here's my purpose statement that they call my imperative. Really cool, huh? And it talks about the who, why, and the how. It doesn't say what. And this is really important, because these things, you can take them with you whatever you are doing. So it's like, it's not based on your role, your level of impact, your responsibility, your ethnicity, where you are in the world, what industry you're in, none of that. This spreads. It's like you can take this and do what you want with it. So this was really empowering to me. So what I did, I just made a snapshot, and with all my journals over the years, so I have all my supplies on one side, and then I have this guy here. This is how much this impacted me, and I really use it as a litmus test to say, what's the difference between what's a good thing to do and what's my purpose thing to do. All right. So this is really cool, especially for us creatives and visionaries, because we can formulate some ideas and ways to go like nobody's business. But when it comes to prioritizing them, like, what's the priority? This was a great tool to do that. And also my nudges and my downloads were great as well. So that I had the combination of these two, like of all the things in my toolkit. What's of best use right now? How do I best serve right now? And so this is what this did. Because of following this and working my plan, I had a plan, but this kind of helped me to prioritize it. I'm sitting in front of you today, like literally. So immediately after I had this experience, I went through everyone that I knew, like all my sister flames, brother flames, the people that I had the Divine Spark conversations with, and said, look, go to this website and get this. Get yourself some goodness. And then let's talk about what unlocked for you. Let's talk about what happened. So I'm just prone to go through the unlocking experience, right? Because it's all about I'm all about not just having divine spark moments and aha moments. Gosh, I'm appreciative of them and I love them. But I also love what they unlock in my life. I also love leveraging them and going to different places that are designed and meant for me. So when you're a spark purpose peep and you're looking for results that matter, when you get those nudges, when you get those divine downloads, it's about what are you going to do with them? Okay. So my friends went and had this experience, and we really could glean some value that we could use right away. So then I started knocking on the door at Imperative. Okay, I started knocking there because I was like, I couldn't let it go. I was already thinking about, I think this was like the birth of the purpose community. So I went from just thinking about like my business to like this community and what would happen if people massively became unlocked. Like what would happen if people really kind of understood at a deep level what makes them tick and then took action about that, right? And so I asked an Imperative for years, and initially like a little manic. Okay, can I get a license? Like how can I, because I want to teach this to people. So I want to, if people went on the website and took this free tool that's available, I want to know that like I'm on the same trail as you are, because again, my purpose path was through the heart-centered purpose and the spirituality-centered side. So this is science. So I wanted to make sure that when I'm teaching it, that I'm teaching it with the intention of the design, because that's how I roll. And I really wasn't getting any traction with that. But the fire in my belly wouldn't go away. So what do? I went and I created the things that I had control over that I could create. I wrote the books. I outlined the programs. I did, different things. But the fire in my belly about using this, because my output became integral. It became a part of my decision-making system. It became a part of, like, if you could choose between A and B, let me take a look at that. Okay, let me choose B because B is more aligned with that. And God brought me to that. He brought me to the purpose economy, and he brought me to this treasure, and I'm going to leverage it. That's how I'm wired, right? I'm grateful, and I show it by what I do with what is bestowed to me, because I believe that too much is given, much is required, right? Okay, so really didn't hear anything about how to use it that way, because I was ready to go to the Department of Labor. I was ready to go do like major pursuits, because if the purpose economy is coming, my thing was, you know what? No purpose peep is going to be left behind, right? So I got a nudge about last fall that said, send another email. This time when I sent an email, I got a direct response. A person responded to me and said, look, we've been thinking about it for some years about having this program where we certify business owners, because what was happening in the 3 years between when I had this great experience to last fall was that Imperative was in large-scale organizations. They were in large-scale organizations rolling out these purpose programs, right? Like really having these really impactful, like 30,000 feet, purpose experience where it was like rolled out with this understanding and alignment and commitment through every level within the organization. So that's what they were engaged in. That's the model they were executing, right? And they were also engaged in these huge studies with some of the largest consultancies that we know, and as well as like companies like LinkedIn. And, because of all this continued research that they were doing, they came up with some really cool statistics. And one of them was that 2/3 of us, so even people that identify as purpose peeps, we are in this. 2/3 of us identify as being unfulfilled at work. Because remember, their focus is about the science of purpose at work. Okay? So guess what? If we're showing up at work unfulfilled, which is 8 to 10 hours of our lives daily minimum, right? You better believe that's showing up in other aspects of our lives. Or either we're burning both ends because we're doing this work with a mindset around, what that means for us, and then we're seeking other things outside of work to check the box on fulfillment. And then we're wondering why we're tired. We're wondering why we're feeling burned out. And it doesn't mean that we don't invest in, ministry and volunteerism in our communities, in our personal circles. Of course we do. But it's about the weight, and it's about what meaning we're looking to extract from that. So can you imagine the pressure that we put on some of those noble pursuits because we don't feel fulfilled in what we do the majority line share of our time when we're awake? I mean, like, that's a major aha, okay? So the response to my email was, we are going to start certifying small business owners. And in 2 days, we're going to send information. I'd love to send you out information, and your timing. I can't believe your timing. Well, I know the timing. The timing is divine timing. The timing is that, I responded to the nudges and took inspired action. I kept knocking when I felt called to knock and, kind of share my ideas. And that's another thing that one of our Purpose Peeps, the author James Altucher, mentions in his book, Choose Yourself, is like the idea generation. So when we're having these conversations with other Purpose Peeps that are sparked, that are maybe further along the path, that have access to something that we need, that we would like to leverage in our life, we're coming with a gift. Okay, yeah, I read your book. I did your thing, and here's what came up for me. Here's some ideas I had. Can I have some of your time so that I can flesh this out? So we're coming with something and saying, I'm trying to move this thing forward, and I need your help. Really, really cool principles for us Purpose Peeps and for our community. So here's the deal. Here is the deal, as my granddaughter says. What's the deal? Here's the deal. The deal is we have access. So the survey that was 3 pages is now 27 pages. The survey that just had some bullet points around your who and your why is so much in depth that it's like bananas. And because it goes so far in depth, that means that we have more access to leverage. Okay? So now, Purpose Peeps, we have the heart of purpose, coupled with the science of purpose, to bring your life to purpose to places like I couldn't even imagine. Like I can't even imagine, okay? And that's what you have access to. So the thing that I thought was lost, having a fit because I couldn't access like this smaller model for this, that was a piece, only a component of this bigger thing that was being created. And oh, by the way, you have access to an app for a year when you purchase the Purpose Profile. And I'm going to show you some slides from my Purpose Profile, from my online experience, so you can understand, because I don't think I could put it into words. Okay? And that's what you have access to. Okay, so I want you to think about it. I want you to put on your purpose thinking cap. And I want you to think about, like, what is it that you could have access to that you could not even imagine that your yeses will open up in your life and in those that you are called to serve. Okay? So there's another episode. I don't know which episode number it is. I'm sorry, Purpose Peeps, but there's another episode where I talk about how, your yes can be the answer to someone else's sincere asks. So someone is praying, someone is asking some big questions about something that you have access to, and a solution and an answer that you can give. So I'm just thrilled to be able to share this experience with you. You can go to denawiggins.com/purpose-me, and you will see the offering around getting your own custom Purpose Profile. And stick around, because I'm thrilled to show you like what you have access to. You got a ticket, my friends. You got a ticket. And I'm thrilled to show you what you have access to. And because I'm so thrilled, I am offering your Purpose Profile for free, along with your access to this app that I'm going to show you some samples of with your purchase of the Unlock Me program. Did you hear what I said? I'm not kidding. I'm not playing. I'm not playing about your purpose. I'm not playing about your leverage. I'm not playing about you unlocking and living a life that you could not imagine. Living your sparked life. Okay? So stay tuned and just enjoy some of this, some of these slides so you can understand more about what you have access to and celebrate. Share this with anyone who feels a little stuck on their path to purpose, because here are some solutions, and here are some solutions that work. Here are some solutions that are authentic, tested, and have value. All right, Purpose Peeps. Yes, Purpose Peeps. I am officially an Imperative Certified Purpose Coach. So that following that nudge led me all the way to being able to bring all of this goodness to our community. Access is officially granted. Hey Purpose Peeps, so the personal version of the Unlocking series is all about the art of purpose. It's about the heart of purpose and really getting to the nitty-gritty of what makes you tick and gaining clarity about that and clarity about your definition for success and what it will take to live out your results that matter. So here's an example of what you will unlock during those 5 phases. A lot of goodness. Now that you've hit that reset button and you've unlocked yourself and you've had this personal experience, you are so ready to begin the journey of unlocking the science of purpose at work. So you did the heart of purpose, now you're moving into the brain of purpose, the science of purpose, and how you operate. Once you take that online survey, you will get a report, that big report, but then you also get access to the online app. Here's an example of a summary of my purpose profile, the equalizer, that I customized to be in alignment with what I understand after I unlocked myself. And oh, by the way, only 9% of Purpose Peeps share my purpose type. Here's where we begin leveraging what we've learned. So you will have an opportunity both in the report and in the online app to look at your potential biases and your purpose power-ups. And your purpose power-ups are the things that you will engage in to move through awareness, to intended practice, and ultimately mastery. Here's an example of the level of detail, my friends, the level of detail around each aspect of your purpose profile. So this talks about my who. And my who, I'm driven to work in organizations or with teams or groups. And here are some things to help me to understand what that means for me. By using the imperative statement builder, which takes me through 5 steps, I was able to extract and pull from what I unlock and what I understand about myself to be able to move from this generic statement that sounds like me to something that really lives and breathes in me and comes from my heart space. Surprise! Here's some juiciness. You also have a virtual coach available through the online app. And each week you can assess how you're doing in each area that Imperative has defined as 3 things to focus on for fulfillment. And those are relationships. And we know that people are divine spark, and our spark relationships are everything. And also impact and growth. You guys know how much I love the principle of there's always more. So there's also a lens about your leadership style from a purpose perspective. So there's a short video that would kind of break it down for you and help you to understand the difference between your leadership type from a purpose perspective as opposed to other people's. And that's great because we're all about self-awareness and perspective. Hey Purpose Peeps, There's more. Surprise! So if you are engaged in the Unlock the Keys to Business Success and Turn Them into Results journey, which is a journey for systems of Purpose Peeps, and you have at least 5 members of your team, guess what? You get a team report that actually builds a team purpose profile based on all the Purpose Peeps that are in the room, and you can understand each other and leverage. Here's a sample of just that comparison of the different profiles that are present in your group, and just some things to think about it, and ways to leverage that within your group to make sure that we are joining in the individual empowerment of creating opportunities and also making them more available to your team members because you now understand one another better. Purpose Peeps. Access has officially been granted. Do you understand now why I am thrilled beyond? Like, I don't have words for it. What can we do with this understanding in our lives? Sky's the limit. Begin by registering at bit.ly/unlock the keys to your success. And let's get started.